Welcome back. So while it is possible to minimize your taxes no matter what stage of life you are in, there is no doubt that tax minimization will be easier in your retirement years if you plan. Joining us is my guest, Brian Anderson, who practices in Salt Lake City, Utah. Brian, thanks for joining us today. And let's begin by talking about a scenario where a lot of retirees now are surprised to find themselves upon retirement in a higher tax bracket. Now, how does that happen, and how do you handle that?
That's a great question, Scott. Actually, it's pretty easy. With the pensions and 401ks and all the retirement plans in today's day and age, retirees are finding themselves in a situation where they're actually having more income and less deductions during retirement. So they can actually have a higher tax bill in retirement than they did while they were accumulating that retirement.
So let's talk about how the various retirement plans are typically taxed.
So the majority of retirement accounts for retirees are taxed, like your 401ks, pensions, traditional IRAs. So the majority of retirees are going to have those accounts that are taxed. And then you have certain ones like Roths and Roth IRAs that are not taxed. And so really it's finding out the individual's tax needs, not only in the future, but currently, that need to be taken into account. And really the goal is to minimize that tax, not only now, but in the future. And so it's such an individual thing. The government always does want their money, but we're certainly going to try to minimize that wherever possible.
Brian, finally, talking about RMDs, required minimum distributions, is it possible to reduce or even eliminate the taxation on those?
Absolutely. Like you said, the government always does want their money, and they are always going to want to get it. So there are strategies that you can do with the required minimum distributions to make sure that we're minimizing that, like whether it's a Roth conversion or other strategies that, again, it's such an individual thing, but sitting down and analyzing your current situation, what we think that tax bill is going to be right now, and being able to minimize that down the road.
Great, Brian. Thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
My guest has been Brian Anderson in Salt Lake City, Utah, and thank you for watching Retirement News Online.